Hello and welcome everybody. This is the program we speak to people with interesting ideas, people who have done interesting things, and people whom we believe could educate us. And my guest today is someone who ticks all the boxes. She's a photojournalist based in Barcelona. Her name is Ximena Borrazás. She's going to correct me later in terms of my pronunciation of her name. And she deals with human rights violations, migration crises, and also armed conflict. And she had just been in Tigray, and she returned now to her base in Barcelona. And we're going to talk about her visit to Tigray and her experience of her time there. And thank you for joining me, Simona.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time and the space.
It's my immense pleasure. So I think we're going to start with you telling us a little bit about yourself, because I suppose most of my viewers wouldn't be familiar with you, although you have gone sort of viral on Twitter, so people on Twitter will know you, but my general audience will, I think, not know you. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to delve into your time in Tigray, Simona.
Okay. Well, yes, my name is Ximena. I was born in Uruguay, South America. For the people who know about, who don't know about Uruguay, is next to Argentina and Brazil. It's a very small country. So I live in Barcelona since 4 years ago. I'm a photojournalist, and my work focuses on conflicts and migrations, crises in the world. And this is the things that I do. I work to give voices to the people who are suffering in the world, and also I try to focus my work in uncovering conflicts and also pains.
How did the decision to go to Tigray come about?
Well, I was on board in a humanitarian Spanish ship during February. We cover rescues in the Mediterranean Sea. And I was talking with the nurse about the idea to go to Africa to cover some conflicts. I talked with she to go to Gaza Strip in Palestine, and she told me maybe you must to go to Tigray. And in this time, I didn't know nothing about Tigrayan war, so I started to research in internet, and I was shocked because I wrote that Tigray conflict is the bloodiest conflict in this century, and this new is not in the international medias. I mean, here in Spain, nobody knows nothing about the Tigrayan war, and also in Europe, maybe in Al Jazeera they put some information, but it's very few. And I was very shocked, and I talked with my colleague who traveled in all the coverage with me. I proposed him to Edgar to travel to Ethiopia, to Tigray, and we booked the flights and we decided to travel.
Yeah, well, for people who haven't seen you on Twitter, who haven't read your Twitter thread about your visit in Tigray, you went there with your colleague. We'll come to that later, and we'll come to the things that you have seen and experienced in Tigray. But just for introduction, in terms of the logistical aspect of your travel to Tigray, how did you travel? I presume you first traveled to Addis Ababa and then took plane from Addis to Mekelle. And how was it? Maybe give us a bit of, partly because there are other people who would like to travel to Tigray now that the situation has improved, but they are not sure as to how the logistical aspect of it. So maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, I took a train from Barcelona to Madrid, and then I took a flight to Istanbul. I have a flight connection in Istanbul in Turkey. So then I traveled to Addis, and I arrived in Addis like midnight. And then I traveled to Mekele by flight. I mean, by the area light.
Great. So what was your expectation of Tigray? You told me that you came to know about Tigray first when you were in Gaza, and you were told about Tigray by other people. And before that, you had no idea where Tigray was or what the people are like. So what was your expectation before you actually went to Tigray? What were you expecting to see?
Well, the truth is that I didn't expect the things and the stories that we could hear. I mean, the experience was very hard. I didn't have expectations. I mean, I decided to travel and to see what is going on there. And our work for the beginning was planning to focus in famine. And then we talked with a lot of women that was raped. So I decided to also do a reportage about rape as a weapon of war. And yeah, I could say that the situation is very hard, it's very painful, and these people deserve that their stories appear in all the medias, because it's very unfair, the situation.
Indeed, you have shared some of the harrowing stories of women who have been raped by Eritrean forces, and we'll come to that later. Maybe I will share your Twitter thread. It's so powerful and so painful in equal measures. But I think we're going to have to slowly ease people into the painful aspects of what you have seen in Tigray by first maybe speaking about the positive aspects, things that made you happy and the positive highlights of your visit in Tigray, but also because you warmly wrote about the Tigray people, how they opened their homes and their heart for you and things
Yeah.
like that. So tell us about what the positive experiences were of your visit. What is the one highlight that you will tell people when you speak about your visit?
Yeah, well, the people of Tigray is amazing. I mean, they are very kind and they are very closely. Maybe they don't have food to eat, or maybe they don't have a house or nothing, but they steal their smiles and they open the lives to you. I mean, I was a completely strange. I appear in the IDP centers asking for stories, and all these people trust in me, and they give me the stories. And for me, it's very important, because if you are talking with a person, I don't know, who lose everything, the house, the job, who is dying of famine, who don't have food, and a people who the last time that was eating was, I mean, like 12 days ago. It's very hard, and these people are suffering, but they continue to raising their hands, and they say, okay, I am here, I will fight. And for me, this was amazing.
Hmm. Well, you say that they accepted you with open heart, and you went there expecting not quite knowing what to expect, and that reminds me of the story of Mariah Hernandez. I think you will have heard about her. She was a staffer with Borders Without Doctors, and she was cruelly murdered by Ethiopian
Yeah.
forces in around Tambien. I think you must have visited Abiy Adi, Tambien. Maybe you'll tell us a little bit about what you saw in Tambien. And if you have heard stories about Maria as well, I think that would be something that our listeners will be interested, because she, not just in Tigray, but also internationally now, she's a hero because she gave up her life trying to save other people's lives. It's one of the saddest aspects of the brutal war in Tigray, and I think she grew up in Madrid, so you'll have heard about her. But I add that because you reminded me of her when you spoke about um, how, your source of motivation to go there and how you were treated and stuff like that. But just by any chance, have you heard about her?
About
In
Maria,
Tanzania?
yes. A
Yeah.
lot of people talk about Maria in Mekele. Actually, I didn't know Maria because she used to work for MSF. So I didn't hear before nothing about she, but I know that a lot of people love Maria in Tigray, and also we visited the place where she was killed, and you could see in the face of the people who live in this villa the pain about this this murder.
Indeed, yeah. She has, she has beautifully and positively affected many Tigrayan lives, not just directly, but also in terms of her story and her generosity. And I think she will forever be a hero in Tigray. And one of the things that I would like to do in the future is go to Spain and meet her parents, and at least say thank you for giving us Maria. But I digress. So you said that you flew in to Mekelle from Addis Ababa. What are the other places that you visited in Tigray?
Well, I was in Abiadi, in Aksum, Adwa, Adigrat, and Samre.
Hmm. And traveling around from Abiy Adi to the other places from Mekelle, there was no safety worries, and everything was all right to move around
Yeah,
Tigray.
yeah. We spend all the time, these days with our fixer. Fixer is the person who care the life of the journalist in conflict zones. And yes, we spent with 2 months, very kind, and it was perfect. I mean, we met a lot of people, and nothing happened,
Hmm.
nothing bad.
Yeah. So I'll try to screen share you Twitter timeline, Ximena. I don't know. I always have issues with copyright and stuff like that, but I think this should be all right. So let me try. I'm sort of technologically challenged, so I don't even know how to do that. But let me try. Um, so I'm going to try.
I think your micro is mute.
To stop share. Okay, so there was a problem with my mic. You're not hearing what I was saying, right? So, but what were you seeing on the screen? Was it your Twitter timeline?
Yeah.
So, all right, bear with me. We're going to resolve this together. Okay, going to try to. All right, this and interesting. It does look like there is a problem from my side. Could you try to share your Twitter timeline from your side, Ximena, if that is all right?
Yeah.
If that is something that you could do. Yeah. And you're going to take us through the pictures where you took them, you know, what the vibe was like. Yeah, try that. I think it would be fascinating for our listeners if you could give us a bit of context.
Okay.
Take your time. No rush, no hurry.
Okay. Oh, I can share my. You must to give me the permission.
Yep, that's fine. I could give you permission. Okay. Well, I think I could even. Okay. Yeah, I think you should be able to share now because you are the host now. You're the boss.
Okay, great. Oh, I can't. I have securities issues here.
Interesting. I don't know why I wasn't able to share my screen. Should have. All right, there you go. There you go. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Okay, great.
Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, go through that thread and you know just take us through the pictures.
Yeah. Yeah, this was the last that I published 12 hours ago. This was a lady that we met in Axum in an IDP center, and she told us that she lived there in this room, in this bed. I can't say that this is a bed because it's not. But she don't have nothing. Her husband is in Sudan, and because of this recently conflict, she don't know if the husband is alive or not, and she's trying to survive. And this lady said that because of lack of food, she cannot produce milk in her breast to the Dagmawi baby. He is 2 years old. So yeah, the situation is very hard. And she also told us that during the war she was in prison, and the reason was she is from Tigray. This was the reason. And she told us that yeah, the soldier.
Where did Ximena, sorry to interject, but where did she say she was living when she got arrested? Where was she living? Outside Tigray, I presume.
Western Tigray, she said.
And Western Tigray. All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And yeah, she said that the soldiers was very rude in the jail. They said a lot of insults because she is from Tigray. And this is one of billion stories because this happening all the time and happened during the war. Yeah, but we could interview a lot of people with very hard stories and testimonies. And it's difficult to understand why this violence. I remember the story that I think is more painful It's a story about a kid, 10 years old. I'm looking for this story. Eskedar Hailu, I think is the name. She is a kid, and 1 year ago, yeah, this. 1 year ago, 4 soldiers, Eritrean soldiers, was raped her mom. So she started shouting to alert somebody. And the soldiers put knives in her stomach, and also through boiling water, she have a big scar there. And it was a shock because I cannot understand how need to work a brain to do this. I cannot understand that as humans, that we have the possibility to think about our acts, how you could do this for a kid. I mean, yeah, it's very crazy. I cannot explain my feelings. Yeah.
Mm.
And all the stories that we took interviews and photos, and also we are preparing a film. We also record everything. So we are working in this film that I hope some media want to publish this film because it's very important. Because yes, I published these stories in my Instagram and my Twitter, but I am not a media, and I need a media who can work with us to expand these stories, because I have, I don't know, very few followers, but a media have a lot of people who see the news. So yeah, it's it's my goal, and I hope that these stories could be seen and heard.
Mm. Well, we're going to try to do our best to spread the word around so that you get some sort of traction. And I think you're getting already, a, good deal of traction on Twitter. But I think it's limited to Twitter so far. So, including with this interview, my hope is that you're going to get more visibility. But we're going to try. We're going to try.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and well, as I told you, we work about malnutrition and famine because you know that USA got the humanitarian aid since 4 months ago. They said that was because the humanitarian aid was sold in the market, but nobody knows if this is true, this is not true, who is behind this, nobody knows. But the fact is that a lot of people is dying of famine. During they continue the investigations about this. I think this is not the solution. I mean, if you said, okay, we discovered that this aid was sold in the market, I think that you must to continue providing this aid, but finding another way to improve the help. And well, they decide to cut, and we visit the first camp that we visit was one in Mekele, very near Mekele. I mean, I don't know, but I don't know how long is, but by car, I think 10 or 15 minutes by car. It's a huge one. And this is a photo of this lady, Mabrit, 33 years old. She lives in this camp since 2 years. I mean, during all the war, she moved to this camp. She's a refugee. And yeah, she had this baby, 3 months old. and she cannot find food. And this is a problem because she cannot produce milk. And yeah, it's complicated because if this situation continue, maybe this kid gets malnutrition. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the worst case, I mean, God forbid, but you know, he might die.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's grotesquely horrifying stories that you have captured, Ximena. I mean, I'm eternally grateful to you for going to Tigray and capturing these stories, because one of the major problems has, and I think you make that point somewhere on your Twitter thread, Tigray has been ignored by mainstream media, and indeed, you had tried to convince mainstream media to work in collaboration with you, but you were ignored, from what I was able to understand. But maybe we'll go to what happened in terms of your effort to try to engage other mainstream media in your endeavor. But there was another story which really disturbed me. But before you go into that, maybe I should add a warning to our listeners. Some listeners might find it disturbing, so I think out of sense of duty, I have to say that it might be disturbing. So maybe if you are the sort of person who wouldn't be disturbed by this kind of harrowing stories, maybe you should skip the next 10 minutes. But there was a story about a woman, 28-year-old woman, who had been gang raped by Eritreans, and there was another aspect to the story that really disturbed me, which was that people seemed to ostracize her. People didn't seem comfortable being around her because being raped in Tigray is perceived as something that you should be ashamed of, the victim. And yeah, please go to that. And it's, again, to emphasize to our viewers, it's a really, really disturbing picture. So just to add caveat, yeah.
It's not a picture, it's a video. I cannot find it, but I resume the situation. We was in an IDP center. I don't wanna say the city because this is a delicate situation, but yeah, we could find a woman that was sleeping, and in the same time that she was sleeping, she was crying because of the pain. And we asked a lady who was slept, yes, next to this lady, and she explained us that she is 28 years old, and 1 year ago she was raped by 5 Eritrean soldiers, and she cannot continue the treatment because of the war, because of the lack of medicines. So yeah, since 1 year, she is all the time in the bed, crying because of the pain. And this was very shocked. So I decided to record the pain of this lady. And I was shocked because yesterday I was contacted by a lady who works in International Amnesty, and she said, I saw your post and I want to know more information about this lady, because we must to see if we could do something for this lady. So I am very happy. I don't know if this reportage of our material will be sold, but I don't care, because I think I get this. I reach this woman, and I think my work is done, because for me as a photojournalist, the most important thing is to share stories about the painful in the people, and to try to reach the people who must to do something for these people. Because for me as a person, as a normal person, I don't have the tools to help these people. My only tool is photographing and write these stories and also recording and also do a movie, but I cannot travel to Tigray and give these people money or trying to change their life because I don't have these tools. But I am very happy because this lady who is in charge of the genocides in the world by International Amnesty, and also she is investigator about war crimes. She contacted me, and we will talk next week about this woman. I already sent the location of this woman, and she told me that some people of International Amnesty will go to this IDP, so I'm very happy.
Well, I think I mean you've done your part, Ximena. You went to a place that is less than safe, and you captured as much story as possible. And as a photographer, I think that is as best as you could have done. And now it is for other people to take up your stories and do something about them. Not least marshal resources to help the women who are in dire situation, and you should really be proud of what you have done, Ximena. But in terms of your experience in Tigray, I mean, you told us some stories, some of them very, very disturbing. What are the other sort of highlights that you would like to mention now during, I don't know for how many days you stayed in Tigray, but what other stories would you like to highlight now?
I spent 2 weeks and I want to highlight that I saw the people from Tigray is very strong. They are very strong. They continue the fight in silence because international media don't used to give the space to show this. Yes, they are more focused in another conflicts, but yes, I want to highlight this because they don't give up, and for me this is amazing. They are very strong, they are very kind, and for me as a photojournalist that I was there, I met a lot of people, and now I have friends from Tigray. I'll do my best efforts to show in the world and in Europe what is happening in Ethiopia, and maybe, who knows, maybe the situation change soon.
Well, you say that the various actors in the international community aren't as invested on Tigray as they are on other matters. And in one of your tweets, you say that there could be something to do with racism in there. Why do you say that? Like what are your observations in terms of how much emphasis the international community gives to places like Tigray and to other places? If you would like to say something about that, if you don't feel like
No.
yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why. It's true that international medias are medias from countries in Europe and in USA. The most big medias are New York Times, BBC, CNN, and these medias are from countries like USA, UK. So it's normal that these medias tend to highlight the conflicts in Europe or in USA is normal, but for me as a photojournalist, the fact that it's not normal is to hide some part of the world and to highlight another. I mean, for me as a photojournalist, and yes, as a person who is interested in the conflicts, we must to be more equal to communicate, because in the other side, in the shadow, there are a lot of people suffering, and there are a lot of people who deserve these stories, yes, appear in the media. So I don't know why they do, but for me, it's important to change this, and yes, to be more equal, to have more equality in the time to communicate something.
Well, I can only hope that your stories and powerful pictures would encourage some people to give more attention to what is happening in Tigray. I think part of the reason why not many people seem to be interested in Tigray is because of ignorance, because they don't know enough, and stories like this move people, and so thank you for that. So we're going to stop the screen sharing, but before we do that, to my listeners, you could see her Twitter name, her Twitter handle, so please do follow her. But I'm going to put a link to your Twitter profile in the description box. But for now, you could stop your screen from being shared, and
Okay.
yeah.
Check.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we're back. So one of the things that you say in one of your tweets was that you had tried to engage mainstream media. You had told some people that you were planning to go to Tigray to cover stories, and you asked them if they could help you in some way or if they could work with you in collaboration. And the answer you got wasn't positive. Could you tell us a little bit about what happened and why?
Yeah, yes. Me and Edgar, my colleague, and I, we are freelancers. We are trying to start working with a media, but we travel a lot to cover different issues in the world that for us are important. So yeah, the thing is that when you offer a reportage or an idea to a media, also, if this reportage will do in a conflict zone, they close the door because the medias don't want to be responsible of the life of freelancers. Yeah, because Tigray is a war zone, so it's delicate because Eritrean troops still there, because there are a lot of landmines it's dangerous. And yes, they said no. When you have the material, please share with us, and we will see if we buy this material or not. But we cannot make an assignment because it's a conflict zone. And this happened with Ukraine also. We traveled to Ukraine three times. We are covering the war in Ukraine, and this happened in Ukraine. So yes, they have this way to work, the medias, and it's hard because for you as a freelancer, you must to put a lot of money of your pocket and also your time, and maybe this money you lose this money, because if they decide to not buying the material, you lose this money. But we knew the risks with my colleague, and we decided to travel.
So you said that you're going to make a film out of the pictures that you have taken. Some of them you have shared, and I would presume that you have a lot of other pictures that you haven't shared. And after you have made to see everything that you have captured in Tigray. And I, for one, can't wait for the film to be published. But would you like to tell us a little bit more about where it might be published and where people should access it? You don't have any information as of yet. All right, fair enough. I was just trying my luck. All right. But what is the story that sort of the one takeaway story that your film, sort of the one point that you want to make, if you were speaking, for instance, directly to the international community through your film in terms of Tigray, what would that message be?
Well, the film, I think that the film will be very painful because it's not the same to see a photo and to see a video, because in the video you have the testimonies, you have the voice of the victim, you have, you could see all the things that are happening near the person who's talking. So I think the video have a powerful capacity to shock the spectator. So yes, I could say that this film focuses on famine. And yeah, I hope we could put this film in a media. We have 3 medias, very huge medias interested in this film. So we are working hard to have this film soon. And when we have some news, of course, I will publish in my Twitter.
All right. Well, best of luck with the film. I'm sure it's going to be powerful. So a couple of final questions, and I'm going to let you go. Do you have any plans to visit Tigray anytime soon?
I would love to. I just came back, and it's very expensive to travel to Tigray from Spain. So yeah, I would love to. I don't know if this will happen this year, but maybe next year. Who knows?
And how did you find Tigrayan cuisine, food, and?
Oh, I love it. I fall in love with injera with meat.
All right. Yeah. So was it, I think the one complaint that foreigners tend to have is it could be a little bit too spicy.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
All right. And you said that you have made friends in Tigray and stuff. Have you tried a little bit of Tigrinya?
Yeah, I know to say Yaganele.
Yeah, Aniele. That's good. That's good. That's actually one of the difficult words. So you already halfway to mastering Tigrinya. So well done on that.
Yeah, and salam. These are the only 2 words.
All right. Well, so if you don't have any more things to say, Ximena, we're going to leave it at that. And thank you for going to Tigray and taking these powerful pictures. I am absolutely sure that you're going to have a huge impact. And thank you for taking the time to join me today. Perfect Sunday break, sacrificed. So I'm doubly grateful for that. And that was that.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the space. And I wish that these situations change soon for all the people.
Yeah. All right. And yeah, so one word of request to my viewers, listeners, would be to share Ximena's stories. We have heard how much pain it will have taken her to go to Tigray, to go to various places, risking her life to capture stories. And if she could do that, definitely we could help her by sharing and spreading her word around. So please try to do that. And thank you for listening to this conversation. I was Taglai. Goodbye.
Thank you.
All right, so you could end the recording. I think you are the host now.
Okay.